Panels noticing on how environment is one of the biggest issues in the current status quo that has been underestimated by so many people, because from the start we have no system that mandate the people to do this kind of actions of saving the environment. That's why we propose. Our goal in this debate is actually pretty simple. We just want to create a world where environment become a big issue, and because it is, and by normalizing this kind of recycle habit by implementing this proposal. Now, before moving on to my argument, I'm going to bring several points of clarification. First, about how we're going to criminalize. First, panels noticing on how in the status quo, actually government already have this kind of mechanism to punish those who are damaging the environment, like littering and etc., by giving the money fine to the perpetrators. But we believe that this kind of mechanism is actually ineffective, because nowadays money cannot handle the idea of people using unsustainable things, like we can see on how the industry of fast fashion are using these unsustainable things like unsustainable materials, and how people keep buying from them, like Zara, H&M, and etc. That's why we believe that we should do bigger action to handle those situations, right? That's why we in our mechanism will still do the punishment that already being implemented, like in Singapore, on how they find the actors and individuals or even the company that are littering or damaging the environment. But we also going to give the punishment based on how we also going to give the bigger punishment based on how big the damage that those individuals or companies give to the environment. Not only you are given the fine, but also could be in jail and etc. Moreover, we're going to make the socialization and education to the society on how to do the recycle in the right way, and also the policy that are being implemented by criminalizing those actors. Second, we're going to make the policy for individuals to checking their household waste and not allowing the waste that are unsustainable, such as plastic, styrofoam, and etc. in a big amount of number, to implement this policy better and greater. So we're not only focusing on big companies, but also in individuals. So with that mechanism, we can force people to do recycle and checking on them, right? Now, second, I'm going to clarify on how recycle itself. In this case, we're talking about how the companies are massively produce plastic waste or fast fashion and other sustainable materials, right? With our mechanism, we mandate those organizations to do recycle in those unsustainable materials that they produce into something or product that can be used or still beneficial for the society, like how Uniqlo recycle the plastic bottle into clothes, or how they produce the brand new hygienic styrofoam or paper with paper or styrofoam that have been used before, and etc. Now, moving on to my arguments. First, I'm going to bring why it is unjustifiable to criminalize, and second, I'm going to bring how it will create a better world for the companies and both individuals at the end of the day. Now, moving on to my point of justification. First layer of justification, analyzed on how each individuals and even companies are massively producing and using unsustainable things such as plastic in a big amount of that day by day become uncontrolled by the government. These things become problematic, noticing on how it start damaging the environment, and on how the policy, the status quo, already ineffective to control people, like what I've explained on my clarification, right? Our house believes that government should take the bigger action to criminalize. Moreover, the campaign and the socialization that already implemented, like asking people to ban plastic and etc., are not effective, noticing on how actually people cannot live without plastic and etc., right? So those mechanisms already ineffective from the very first place. Moreover, noticing on how plastic is easier to find, cheaper, and etc., it becomes harder for the government to control the production. That's why instead of banning plastic, we still allow the production of plastic, but in our proposal, we still controlling the damage that are being given to the environment by mandate people to do recycle on the plastic or other unsustainable things that they produce or use. This problematic situation can be solved by criminalizing those who are not doing recycle, because once it becomes a law, means everyone have the obligation to do it, right? It is better rather than we banning plastic that already proved ineffective from the very first place, or even do nothing at all to solve the situation. Moreover, what already happened to our environment in the status quo push us and the government to do something in order to prevent the environment damage, right? And that's why we propose this motion. Second layer of justification. Panels, let's analyze on what will happen if we're criminalizing those who are not doing recycle. First, we still let people use unsustainable things that we acknowledge we will always need those in our life. We still let people use plastic, fast fashion, and etc. But we still able to control those massive production by giving this policy in order to force people to be responsible in what already they consume, right? Compared to their side of the house, because from the very first place, they don't criminalize the actors, and then people have no obligation to save the environment because nothing forced them, right? And in proposition, we can solve the environment issue better because we force people to have this kind of awareness by forcing them to do the action of recycle, right? And even they happy or not, this is something that you need to do. Rather than you are not allowed to use plastic or fast fashion at all, I think it's better for letting them use it, but force them to be responsible on what they use and produce. Under our side of the house, we're success to solve this environment issue better and faster. Now moving on to my second argument, I'm going to talk about how it will create a better world for the companies and both individuals at the end of the day. Panels, noticing on how with this mechanism, we force people to have this kind of habit or normalizing the habit of saving the environment by recycling what they use or produce, right? Noticing on how companies have this kind of responsibility or burden in producing this unsustainable materials and recycling into a brand new product, our house believes that it will give a better impact for both companies and individuals. Okay, now I'm going to explain to you. Let's analyze, ladies and gentlemen, on how we normalize these recycled things in the future. People will always try to find or using the sustainable things in order to follow this policy that force them to be more sustainable at the end of the day, right? This policy forced them to save the environment. And by the companies massively producing this recycled product that are more sustainable for the customers, actually it giving the benefits for the company. Why? First thing first, government have this kind of policy that have to be followed by all people, right? We understand that every companies also need to gain profit from what they produce and etc. But with this law, we are forcing people to have this kind of habit and awareness. The company will gain more profit in the future by producing the sustainable things and so on and so forth. Because in our world, people now looking for sustainable materials at the end of the day compared to their side of the house. Noticing on how we are able to prove to you that with our mechanism, not only we can save the environment, but also can create a habit, a normalization in the society that also can be beneficial for the companies if we're implementing this kind of policy. Our house believes that we should win this debate because we can solve this problem faster and greater. So proud to propose. Thank you.